Hey Rachel, let me go ahead and walk you through the information that I got put together for you. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I want to create a different video for those individuals that potentially want to learn more about this and dive into probably a few more details than I normally would, and it probably is going to take a little bit longer. So I figured, what the heck, I'll keep this video fairly short and I'll just kick it over to you so that you at least have the information in front of you. So let me get my screen shared. Maybe if we can remember how to do that. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna run through this entire document with you, and I've got a couple of examples of different things that I'm going to show you for each of these individual items here. So, for example, this first piece with technical SEO, this is where we need to get that actual page buttoned up just a little bit better. So this is the page that I'm referring to. That comes up whenever we do a search on Google right now. But for example, right now it says Meet Rachel Hansen, Farm Bureau Financial Services. Okay. I don't know how much Farm Bureau is going to let us change with this particular page, but this is not optimized at all, right? Like, I mean, we can have like Rachel Hansen in there, but I would want to have something like Burley Insurance or Idaho Insurance or something with the word insurance inside of the title tag to help this be able to rank a little bit better rather than Farm Bureau Financial Services. I understand why they're doing that because they want to have the brand name in there, but that's not going to help you rank at all. If we can't tweak this, again, not the end of the world. There's plenty of other things that can be done. But it may be better just to have a separate page that we start to get to rank on Google rather than starting to pull something from Farm Bureau directly to get this done. But for that very reason right there, I'm like, yeah, this this page just it needs some help, right? So there's that first piece there. And then the H1, let me pull up the code so I can show you what I'm talking about with this piece. And I apologize, and this might already be going a little deeper than we really need to. But the H1 on the page is Rachel Hansen. Okay, again, we're not including keywords, anything like that. It's just your name, which I'm assuming it's either, yeah, right here. This is going to be that H1. If we can update that to be something like Rachel Hansen dash Burley Insurance or Burley Rancher Insurance or whatever, right? That's going to just help this page rank a little bit better. The content that's on this page is very, very thin, meaning there's just not a lot of it. So we want to also get more pages or more content written on these. I do see there's this more about Rachel page. Let's see what this does. Yeah, I mean, I know this. uh, We're definitely going to want to put more content on these pages. There just isn't a lot of information on these. And Google wants to crawl something that they feel like there's a lot of information that's going to be the most valuable to a user when they end up on a particular page. So we're going to want to write more words on this, whether it's just talking a little bit more about insurance or whatever, or more about the local area. It doesn't necessarily matter a ton as long as it's relevant to the area and to the keyword insurance that we're trying to rank for. Then it's going to help us out quite a bit instead of just having a quick couple of sentences that are written here. Okay, so all those things I was just talking about, that all happens in the first couple of months, right? So that's again just kind of scratching the surface here, but those are kind of the main items that we would look at and that we would want to get fixed. And that's really the foundation of this whole thing, right? As long as that page is set up well, it's going to help us rank better than if we just try to go off to the races without getting anything on that page set up properly. Now, again, we can do it, or we can do it with a separate page. It is Burley. It's not like we're in the most competitive market in the world. So all of these things we could potentially do without and jump straight into what I call the ROI driving months, which are all of these items right down here. So these are the things that happen every month with the SEO that we're doing once that first initial phase is set up and done, where we want to be adding additional pages to your specific page on Farm Bureau's website. We need to be getting more directories or local directories that are also built out. So stuff that looks like, yeah, I had an example, something like this, right? Where it has address, phone number, website, little description. It's going to have your business name, all those kind of things, right? And we want to go out and build hundreds of these directories across the web. It's going to help locally, where you rank better in the maps, as well as organically, which are the blue links that show up below the map. Uh, After that particular piece, we want to focus a little bit more on Google Posts. So Google Posts looks something like this. So let me actually back all the way out here. So if I just did a search for here, let's do this, dentist in Burley, Idaho, or whatever, right? So we come through here. Let me pull these guys up specifically for you. If we scroll down to here, you'll see that we've got content that's been written out for them that's going directly on the page. So if you just scroll through this stuff, like there's tons of them. So if I click into this, I mean, you could scroll for a while to be able to see all the different content pages that have been put up here. Um, Shoot, looked like it might have kicked me out. Hopefully this is still recording. But essentially that's going to be another big piece of this is we need to get the Google content is I guess the best way I'll put that onto the actual profile itself because that again just helps Google trust it a little bit more as there's constantly content being created. Last piece is what we call a guest blog mention. So this is where we're getting other people to talk about your website and link back to you as a source of information. The way that we do this, where I've been doing this for just over almost 11 years now, actually, it's kind of crazy. We've got tens of thousands of people that we work with where we can send them a piece of content and in exchange for that free content that they get on their site, they will link back to us with something like this. So this is a vet out of Oseo, Michigan that we work with. So if you click on this, it's going to take you over to their particular website. So what we're going to do is build out tons of these, over the course of the next several months to really help the page start to be able to rank better and, compete with those other individuals that are in the market. Okay, so that's really all there is to the SEO, right? There's not a whole lot. Again, it's just the consistency of it. Make sure you're doing all those things every single month, month in, month out, to make sure that it's going to help you rank the best that you possibly can in a market like this. Now, with the Google ads, slightly different, right? So what we do, oh, and I should mention, this is all based off of 10 to 100 searches a month for insurance in, oh, I want to say it's Burley, Rupert, Hayburn, and Paul are the markets that I grabbed to be able to understand how many people are actually searching for this online. And I was actually kind of surprised that there was not zero. Like there's actually a decent amount of people every single month. I know it's a pretty broad range, but no less than 10 and no more than 100 is really what that's telling us that anywhere inside of that is where this ends up every single month. Um, so from an SEO standpoint, it makes a ton of sense to be able to rank for these types of keywords to be able to get more traffic to this site. Now with Google ads, right, we have to spend money on the ads to be able to show up inside of Google's search engine. So what we were just talking about with SEO, you show up in different places. Okay, so for example, let's go back here. Go back again. Okay, if I do dentist in Burley, Idaho, right, you've got the maps that come up here. And then you've got the organic links, which are down here. These sponsored placements, I block these on my computer, but they come up right here above uh, the um, the local Google local results for the most part. So if let's see, it's like I don't even know if I can get them to show up on mine. Yeah, it's not going to pull them. But I think we briefly looked at it before. It just says sponsored on it, and then it'll have a link and it'll have a description, and we can have a phone number right there inside of that ad as well, for people to be able to get a hold of us, and give us a call. These ads can be a little bit more targeted with SEO. You do not control 100%, right? You can control this to some extent, but you don't control 100% the keywords that you're going to rank for. If Google sees your page is relevant for um, geez, I don't know, marketing insurance. I have no idea. Then they're going to have you rank for something when someone types in marketing insurance. Whereas with these Google ads, it's very specific. Okay, so like I think we briefly talked about it before. If we're going after ranchers, farmers, all those kind of things, we can make our keywords specific to them to be able to capture as much of those specific individuals as we possibly can. Now, the only drawback with running Google ads is you've got to have an ad budget on top of the time that it takes us to be able to actually run these ads properly and be able to actually produce a result with them. So Google gives you a range, $23 to $57 is essentially what we're looking at for this. Usually I say, hey, bank on the high end, just because Google's going to try to get the most money they can per click. However, in a market like Burley, we found that you can get tons of clicks for a pretty cheap cost. So what I would say, just based on that range that they're giving us, I would say run with a budget of something like $500 a month. We could probably do it on 250 if we really wanted to, as far as the actual ad spend. So let me make a distinction here. There's going to be 2.5 hours a month that we need to be able to manage this campaign. Okay, and we bill at $100 an hour, so that's where the 250 comes from. 2.5 hours a month for us to be able to manage that. So $250 comes over to peak. This other ad spend budget, that's the budget that goes straight to Google to be able to show up within their search engine with these ads. So if we can swing a $500 budget, I'd say that's going to be fairly optimal. If we can't, we can do it on a little bit less if you just kind of want to dip your toe into the water. But that's what I would recommend if you really want to make this work pretty well for you. 500 bucks a month on the ad spend. So if we do that, if we say we're going to do the SEO, the Google ads with the ad spend on there, so if we put everything together, we're looking at like $1,000 a month to be able to do something like that. Now, again, the only exception to that is if you want to do $250 instead of $500 for the ad spend, then it could be a $750 budget instead of a $1,000 budget if you want to keep it under $1,000 or whatever. I have no idea kind of what your budgetings look like and what you want to do with that. But that's really what I would recommend. Okay, if it was me coming into this market as an insurance agent, I would be spending $1,000 a month to really make something happen online to be able to get me more leads. Now, something to keep in mind. I know we're local businesses here, so this part I normally go over quite a bit with people who don't know me, but I'll just give you this tidbit regardless. Everything we do is month to month. There's no contracts, so you can pause, turn everything off whenever you want. What we do say is understand that while this is month to month, it does take a little bit more time than just a single month to start to see the ROI from campaigns like this. Usually you're talking if you're running a Google ad campaign and an SEO campaign together, probably 2 to 3 months. And then you'll start to see some decent traction with that. SEO can take up to 6 months, but the Google ads can be a little bit quicker once they're all set up and actually running. We usually just do billing through credit card. It's kind of the easiest way for us to do it. So I just send over a QuickBooks link to you. You click on that, you enter in your information that way, and then it bills on the anniversary date of whenever that is set up every single month. Generally, and I have yet to hold anybody to this, but generally you ask for 30 days before we get anything paused or shut off, just because we could be in the middle of a campaign for someone where we're almost done with the month and then they ask us to shut it off, but we just completed all this work. So we need to have one more bill go through. Generally, I'm pretty flexible, right? If you've got something that comes up and you're like, hey, I need to use money this month for something else, just let me know. We can pause it and then we can make sure that you don't have another bill for that particular month. This is a portion that I'll send over to you via Sign Now, where you can just authorize this essentially, because again, this isn't a contract. This is just saying, hey, I've authorized Peak Marketing to get in and make these updates to my profile and help my SEO and my Google Ads to be able to get more business for me. That's all this section is saying, is like you are allowing us to do that. Okay, so that's everything that I've got for you for now. Again, we can talk more about other aspects of this thing, like doing trainings and all those kind of things a little bit later. But I just wanted to get you this information in front of you so that you had that handy. But let me know if you have any other questions. Other than that, I hope you have a good one.